Hello, Home Slices. It's Kiera with Home Slice Adulting, coming to you with my first individual episode review of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. This is season 1, episode number 7. So I posted a video about a week ago regarding my thoughts on episodes 1 through 6. So if you're interested, I'm going to put a link in the top right corner if I can manage to figure it out with the new editor that YouTube has, because it's a new YouTube studio, and with new stuff you always have to try to figure it out. So if I cannot get the link to pop up in the top right corner, it'll be in the description bar below. And also, earlier today, I posted a review for the latest episode of Yana Fix My Life. It was episode 607, Engaged and Enraged, about the couple that was engaged and trying to get kind of some premarital counseling. And it was an interesting episode, so check that out if you are interested. And you'll be able to find the link in the description box, and maybe the top right corner if I can manage to figure it out. So before we get into this episode, I want to say thank you for clicking on the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share this video with people that you think will enjoy it. Now let's jump right in. So first we see Maurice and Kimmy opening gifts. It's a super quick scene. They're super cute. It's nice to see them in newlywed bliss. And Kimmy says that even though they've been together for 7 years, she was under the impression that it wouldn't feel different to be married because they had been together for so long, but that it actually feels different. So that's nice. Wanda, who come to find out is Tisha's mom, gave Kimmy a robe and like a lingerie bustier dominatrix type of situation. And it's so funny for her to be getting something like that from somebody's mama. So I kind of like Miss Wanda. She's interesting, to say the least. Now, moving on, we see Tisha, whatever, and her misogynist husband, Marcel. Now, Marcel is moaning and bitching about Tisha's mama at the reception, and he wants Tisha to have his back, but, surprisingly enough, he doesn't have her back when it comes to her accomplishing her career goals, so whatever. Moving on, she wants them to have a conversation about having her mom move in with them so her mom can help out with the kids while she is getting her career goals on, right? And so he's like, I thought we talked about this. Like, he felt that she was going to forget about her career goals because he gave such a rousing and, convincing speech about her being there for the children while he is working. No, you can't squander somebody's dreams and goals. And as much as I dislike both of them, a part of me identifies with Tisha a little bit. But moving on, he asked her, so you're just going to outsource being a mom? And this Negro told his wife that she's going to regret missing out on the kids while she's making commercial real estate deals. No, Negro, you're going to miss out on raising your kids. Nobody helps. When she asked who's my biggest help with the kids and he said me, there's no way that's true. There's no way that's true in the sense of like taking care of them. He may provide for them financially, but that does not mean that when it comes to actually raising and caring for them and nurturing them, that he's the biggest help with them. And I don't think he understands that distinction. But anyways, he's the one who's spending so much time at work and away from the kids that they're missing out on being with their dad, and they're not going to forget that when they get older. There's plenty of people who have deadbeat dads that lived in the house. You can provide for your kids and not be there for them when they feel like the important moments of their lives pop up. And that's a recipe for a live-in deadbeat dad. Not saying that that's what Marceau is, because we haven't seen enough of his interaction with the kids to definitely say that he is a definite deadbeat in the house. But the fact that you can't make eggs and you don't know your son is allergic to peanut butter is like a negative indication. But moving on. I don't like either one of them. Moving on. So we see Melody's mom, Vanessa, and Melody talking, and she tells her mom about the conversation that she had with Martell on the boat during Kimmy and Maurice's wedding. Melody says that, better isn't good enough. And I get that. Vanessa tells Melody that the kids are aware that something is going on. And Melody feels like, when there's a disagreement between husband and wife or the adults, that the kids shouldn't be involved in the parental drama. And for the most part, I agree with her. Because if you look at families like the Braxton family, when the kids were brought into their parents' divorce, they were like forced to choose between one parent versus the other, and it messed up their relationships, as we have all seen. But another aspect of it is that we can't pretend that our children, or I don't have children, but we can't pretend that children are blind. Once you are aware of if your children knowing that something is going on, you have to get control of that narrative. Because if you don't talk to your kids about it, they're going to make up stories in their mind about what's going on. And that's a recipe for disaster. So there's no, such thing as withholding secrets from your children. There's a way to tell your children, me and your dad are going through some things right now, but, it's nothing for you all to worry about. It has nothing to do with y'all. It's not your fault. We're always going to be here for you all. And, just to reassure them that even though things are not the way that they used to be between mommy and daddy, that things are going to be okay. And like not allowing children's imaginations to run wild about what's going to happen to their family now that things are different. So that's just my little spiel. But moving on, Melody said, enough is enough. Is she planning on leaving? Or is she trying to teach Martell another lesson by leaving for 6 months only to return again? We don't know. Now, Melody feels like Martell thinks that because he contributes to the household more than other men, like Marcel, that Melody should just be grateful. And Martell does not understand the amount of work that it's going to take for him to repair their relationship. Like, they've been together for 10 years. He admitted that he messed around on Melody for 2 years out of those 10 years. That's a fifth of their relationship. There's no way an apology and some flowers and a handwritten note and inviting her to places with all the guys is going to patch that up in a matter of months or even a year. Like, he really has to work on gaining her trust back, and he's still doing things to make her not trust him, as we learn later on. Melody says she don't know who he is anymore, and eventually maybe she'll do something about it. We see Letitia on an interview. This was like filler. It's boring. She doesn't come off to me as a person who would do well in the corporate world. But she does have her MBA. Apparently she got it while she was, pregnant with her second child. So good for her. She's educated. So, I wish her well in the corporate world, but she just didn't interview well, to me. But moving on. Next we have Kimmy and Melody. Melody talks to Kimmy about her marriage and the infidelity, and it's real interesting because they rehash something where Melody says that Kimmy was not there to support her when she was really going through the thick of it with all this infidelity. Now, back when we first met these people on like the first and second episodes, when the topic of infidelity in Martell and Melody's relationship first popped up, they said that there were rumors, but nothing had been confirmed. So if it was just rumors, why would Kimmy come to you and say, hey, I hear you're going through something, I'll be there for you? Why would Kimmy, like Kimmy says she sent her a text message, along those lines, like, if you need anything, I'll be here for you. But it's like, if these were all rumors and nothing was confirmed, why would you say that? Something is, am I the only person confused by that? Anyways, moving on. So they rehashed that a little bit, but at the end of the day, they're trying to restore their friendship, and I hope so, because I don't really like the way Kimmy always seems to take, well, they both take digs at each other. So I'm hoping that they can really mend their friendship, but they have to tell the truth. And Kimmy was not telling the truth about those crystal lovebirds. She ain't like them. But moving on, we have Martell and Melody. They get a call from the lender, and come to find out, Maurice and Marcel aren't on the loan and that they can't get approval for financing that they need to build the two houses. So Martell and Melody are kind of caught off guard because they were under the impression that all 6 of them were going to be on the loan, and that by 2 of them not being on the loan, that it stopped them from securing the financing. So they can't move forward without money, and they might lose contractors with all of the delays. And because the real estate business is booming in Huntsville at this point in time, that means that these contractors have a lot of options regarding where they can go next. And losing your contractors means, bad business, for when it's time to actually build the houses. So they have a comeback group meeting to address all this. Melody tells them about the call that they just got from the lender, and the Scotts. And when I say the Scotts, I mean both couples, because, they are all 4 of them. Kimmy, Tisha, Maurice, and Marcel are all Scotts. They claim that their companies were represented on the loan, but not Maurice and Marcel because of whatever is stated in the articles of the comeback group. It sounded like a big misunderstanding is what it sounded like to me. But I also feel like Maurice and Marcel should have known that with more people on the loan, that would increase their chances of securing that loan. So they just the Scotts put everybody at a disadvantage by not putting everybody's name on the loan. And so the Holts were saying that if you all aren't on the loan, you all aren't as committed to this as everybody else, or as much as the Holts are. And Tisha gets upset, and I just listening to her talk annoys me, because sometimes I feel like she's just talking to be talking. Like, she don't ever talk about like the actual business. She just talks about her opinions on what Melody is doing, basically, or what the Holts are doing. But anyways, Tisha gets upset, and Marcel basically puts her in her place. No, we're not going to do that today. No. Ugh. Okay, Melody said made a decision about the appraisals for the houses without the group. And it's like, here we go again. The Holts are doing something underhanded and sneaky. And I agree with the Scotts on this one, y'all. With regards to the Scotts not being on the loan, I feel like that was just a misunderstanding. But I definitely think Melody was wrong for, not consulting them regarding the appraisals before moving forward with them. She knows that there's already this air of distrust because of the Holts purchasing those 47 acres of land after the comeback group decided not to pursue that venture. And instead of that, I feel like that's something that could have been done via text message. Like, do y'all have a comeback group text message that you can be like, all right, y'all, we're kind of going a little slower with this than we need to go. What do you all think of me putting up the money for the appraisals? And within an hour, she would have had answers from everybody, and they would have been on board. But for her to make the decision and then tell them about the decision later, it just sows more distrust within the group. And that point, I think, because Melody felt that she was being attacked for being wrong, basically, that's why she was like, okay, I don't want to do this with y'all no more. Martell like I said, Martell said that the Scotts were all riding their coattails and saying that you all are not bringing as much to the table as we are bringing to the table. And while I feel like the Holts might have a point about that, considering how they're actually building the house, and they maybe have a little bit more skin in the game, I don't think it's fair for them to say that the others are contributing, not contributing enough to the point where they're riding their coattails. That's crazy, I think. But moving on, Mel gets upset, and she's like, well, who wants to be in the group? Raise your hand or whatever. Mel's the only person who votes against the group staying together. again, I think she was wrong to try to move forward with something without consulting the group. And Mel seems to just have this like take my ball and go home mentality, but she felt like her husband wasn't supporting her in that because they went into the meeting feeling one way, and by the time that Martell heard the other side of this story, he was unsure, and Melody felt like he didn't have her back. And for somebody who's been cheated on, for somebody who has distrust in her marriage, it wasn't a good time for him to not be on her side. Even though I agree that he, his viewpoint of being able to see every side of the situation and see where the misunderstanding happened, I think he was right about that. But for his marriage sake, I think Melody felt that this was yet another time where he let her down. So I think that the whole situation was exacerbated by their marital problems. So we see Martell is about to do some flag football. He has his son there. He has, some other guys there that they know playing a game of flag football. And so she calls him, and she's still mad about how the meeting went and how he wasn't supportive of her. And, he told her, I wanted to hear their sides. And after hearing their sides, I wasn't so sure anymore. And she was just so upset. And she told him, don't break a leg, and hung up. So they're playing flag football, and Martell, was like, oh, of course I played quarterback. What else would I play? And it's like, ugh, get over yourself, okay? So he's playing flag football, and something is like, pop! And he's like, oh, I think I pulled my Achilles. So he has to call his wife, Melody, who he just got off the phone arguing with, to come pick up their son so he can go to the hospital or whatever. So she goes to pick him up, and she's like, what happened? I told you don't break a leg. And he's like, I think I popped my Achilles. And she was like, well, who gonna take care of you? Who's gonna take care of you? And that's so funny because I feel like a lot of I'll say black women, I don't know that I've seen any white women do this, where they'll be mad at somebody and be like, okay, well, who gonna do that for you? Who gonna take care of you? And Melody was being petty in her confessional, talking about, well, I guess that's one void that his mistress doesn't feel is taking care of him when he's sick, when he's down. She just had a severe lack of compassion for Martell. And it was funny because Maurice and Marcel were kind of like looking at Melody sideways, like, how could she not be compassionate for her husband who is clearly hurt right now? Why isn't she doting on him more? Why isn't she investigating about how he's feeling? Why does she have such a lack of compassion? And as soon as she drives away, without even saying bye, he says, oh, I left my second phone out on the field. And Marcel was like, what? What second phone? What you talking about? You got a second phone. And so now they see why. Melody doesn't have no compassion for this man, because even if his second phone was just for business, even if his second phone had like a legitimate purpose, the fact that it comes off that he is hiding something shows that he has not truly repented for being disloyal, dishonest, and cheating on his wife. If he truly wanted to make amends, if he truly wanted everything to be okay, everything would be out and in the open. And the fact that he didn't answer any questions about the second phone, or when he did answer, it sounded like lies, tells me that something else is going on. And once again, Melody can't heal, because every time she tries to move forward, she finds out something else, that he was in communication with this girl for longer than he said he was, that he, was seeing her for longer than she said it was, that it was an actual friendship and not just sex, which proves that, it's not always women who emotionally cheat. Men can emotionally cheat as well and have a physical component to that too. But he has two faults. Like, as much as I don't like Marceau, he is somewhat entertaining, and I felt like he was right about Martell not having, having the second cell phone, and that being a problem in their marriage. So that's all that I have for you guys. I don't think that this episode was very eventful per se, but I'm waiting for this second phone thing to blow up. So thank you all for watching. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and to share this video with someone you know will enjoy it. Tell me what you think about the second phone. Is it actually legitimate, or is that second phone his sneaky phone, his creeping phone? You tell me. Peace out, home slices. Bye.